Two men decided to jump into the water right over here, retrieving driftwood, which ultimately cost their life. The ban goes into effect October 4th, and stores like Dandy here are letting their customers know they can no longer buy flavored Juul pods. Take a look behind me. You can see police officers have taped off this area. You can see over there, that's plastic and glass leading up to those two cars that crashed. He and his team helped those who have been wrongfully convicted, and it's personal for Jeffrey as he spent 16 years in jail for a crime he didn't even commit. The city's hoping to revitalize the waterfront, and they're starting right down here at the south end of it. Although it may not look like much now, next year it's going to look like this. The Tompkins County Department of Health has reported no new positive cases of the virus as of yesterday evening. But the countdown is on with only just 2 days left until the Academy Awards. The biggest surprise of the night, Olivia Colman winning Best Actress. Now, some stars are either leaving the Dolby Theater right now, others still upstairs celebrating at the Governor's Ball. In Hollywood, Kristen Mirand, ABC News. For Urena Bellamy,
from my house to the bus stop, about 10 minutes.
Her commute to a TCAT bus stop can be quite a hike. And that walk during the winter time?
It was miserable.
Her travels on the TCAT from Dryden into Ithaca is anything but a short trip. How long does it normally take?
30 minutes.
And on the weekends?
It takes 3 hours to get there and 3 hours to get home if I'm going to Walmart, because I have to take 6 buses altogether.
What may just save her time on her commute is a new service TCAT is piloting in April called T-Connect, which will help riders living and commuting from rural towns get picked up from their home and dropped off at the nearest TCAT bus stop with the help of a gadabout bus service.
There's a lot of pockets of people, low-income people, surrounding our basic 43 bus route, so it was really an ideal place to start this project.
Here's how it will work. Let's say a rider lives at the Poets Landing Apartments in Dryden. Through this app, they can schedule a gadabout bus to pick them up and bring them to a nearby TCAT stop. The rider can then track the gadabout bus. As for the gadabout drivers, they have a screen alerting them where to pick up the riders, and it's all being updated in real time. What the team at TCAT noticed is that more and more people are moving out of the city due to the high cost of living, and they also notice more people becoming transit dependent.
And that's a really big equity issue. It's almost social injustice.
During their first month of testing, the rides will be free of charge.
I think it'll help the people for me, example, who have the bags, the heavy bags of groceries.
And looking ahead, they're hoping to expand the program to help out anyone not living near a bus stop. Reporting for ICTV in Ithaca, I'm Kristen Mirand. Jonathan Reynolds started smoking when he was a teenager, and now, because of vaporizers, cigarettes are no longer appealing to him.
The smell of a cigarette makes me nauseous, so I mean, that's a good thing, considering I used to smoke 5 packs a day when I was like 18 years old.
But now, the one thing that he credits with weaning him off tobacco may no longer be sold.
We would ban all flavors besides tobacco and menthol.
Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration made the announcement to ban all flavored e-cigarettes, but on October 3rd, the state appeals court put it on hold. There have been over a dozen vaping-related deaths since August and hundreds of vaping-related illnesses.
We don't know what causes it.
Dr. David Evelyn, along with doctors across the country, are trying to get to the bottom of why these vaping problems are happening.
We think it probably has something to do with the chemicals that people are inhaling through the e-cigarette device, and for some reason it seems to be something that is preferentially striking young people.
Young people like Shira Arts, Jesse Weiss, and Gerald Graves.
I think I just liked the act of smoking something.
Yeah, I had a different experience. I actually recently picked up the Juul again.
And Gerald was already addicted to Juul before coming to college.
I'm very impressionable at 16 years old, so it was pretty easy to kind of pick it up.
It's unclear what is ahead. Banning flavored e-cigarettes may be a wake-up call to some.
I'm honestly thinking of stopping because of everything that's going on.
Or a setback for others.
I mean, if I'm free to go smoke a cigarette and kill myself, I should be able to save myself by smoking or vaping my vape.
Frederick Douglass spoke here. Harriet Tubman spoke here.
This isn't any ordinary building.
This was the sanctuary where services were held.
This church holds history.
All of these famous figures during that time, during that incredible time of fighting and standing up for justice, they came here.
Reverend Paris Price is passionate about sharing the history of St. James.
Africans were looking for a place to worship in which they can have the full expression of their worship without discrimination.
Pastor Price brought us around the two-story building, showing what's unique to the church.
And so these are original pews.
And how Ithaca was a stop for those who were enslaved.
And you see the trails. I guess there were 3 routes that went through Ithaca.
She believes this spot, which is now covered up, was part of the Underground Railroad.
So you can kind of see that there may, something happened here.
But there is no way of actually knowing without grants and funding. That's where Cornell professor Gerard Aiking comes in.
The idea is to take the students there and have them work with the church as a community partner.
In Aiking's seminar, his students help out with grant writing research, which can provide funds to find out more about the tunnels. This collaboration between Cornell and St. James is only the beginning of a new chapter.
I'm very curious about where we're going next. As I said, there's a certain elation right now about things that are happening.
And although it may be challenging at times,
but we've always remained hopeful because we know that the history here is very important for everyone to know that the struggle began here, but it will continue on as we seek freedom for all people.
Reporting for Newswatch in Ithaca, I'm Kristen Mirand. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Kristen Mirand. And for residents of Trumansburg, you might want to hear this. Village leaders are seeking resident input on future plans for the town. Claudia Brenner, a local businesswoman, is seeking approval for a project authorizing construction of new homes and apartments in the area. Now, the Tompkins County Health Department is looking for volunteers to help make face masks to be distributed to essential workers. They are looking for volunteers who have sewing experience and have not been in contact with a positive COVID-19 patient in the past 14 days. The project has been named Waterworks and has 2 goals: to deliver workforce housing and help support water access for businesses. The proposed plan creates 18 apartments above retail spaces. For those living in rural towns, they've become transit dependent and oftentimes relying on the bus to get into the city. It can be difficult for rural town bus riders to get to the nearest bus stop from their homes, especially if it's up to a couple of miles away. Yesterday, the city of Ithaca was ranked first among 382 metropolitan areas for having the largest population of people choosing alternative transportation methods other than driving.